welcome to my channel. My name is Glorilla Kaimbe. If this is your first time on this channel, you are welcome. And for everyone that has been around liking, subscribing, commenting, and doing all the beautiful stuff, I see you, I see you, I see you. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my first impression of Canada. Like, did I like it? Was I was I flabbergasted? Was I studied? Well, I'm just gonna be sharing with you these things. If you are really interested, please do stick around. But before I go into that, I'll go deep into that. I would like to share with you our flight experience. Well, our flight was about 22 hours long. So we traveled Ethiopian Airways, thankfully. Well, before we opted for Ethiopian Airways. We first chose Lufthansa. So I have watched enough videos of Neze. Story of Neze is another YouTuber here on, like, she's a Nigerian YouTuber based in Canada. They also relocated last year around the same time. So I actually followed the journey and how she explained how they had issues with Lufthansa and all of that, and the flights and all of those stories. So in the end, when my husband and I thought about it, we're like, no, let's quickly cancel these tickets, because the tickets were like a little bit over 60,000 rand. So we were like, let us quickly go ahead and cancel this thing, because we don't want to have these hidden fees. Because after what basically happened is that after booking for the tickets, booking for the flights, we're like, aren't they going to ask us for a transit visa? Because when you book, when you travel, for example, you're going to America, or when you're going to America and then you have to go through Europe, if your flight has two stops within Europe, you have to pay for transit visa. So we're like, we're not gonna do that. Anything that has to do with transit visa, we don't want. Anything that will require us getting off the plane, running around with these two kids, maybe with one or two hand luggages, it was not going to happen. So we immediately decided to cancel the ticket, which getting the money back was another story. Getting the money back was another headache on its own, guys. Another headache. I am telling you, we eventually got the money the week that we were supposed to leave, and we quickly had to pay some, we quickly had to pay off some things that we needed to sort out before we leave. So I would really not advise someone that is traveling from Africa to go with number one, to go with a flight that will require that you pay transit visa. And if, like, for example, for us, we were already asking questions even before we left. We were asking questions, like, before we canceled the ticket, we were asking questions. We called Lufthansa, we called people that have traveled with Lufthansa. We kept getting different versions. We were like, let's cancel this business. So we canceled it. When we went to Ethiopian Airways, we only had to take 2 flights. So it was from Cape Town to Addis Ababa, and then from Addis Ababa we had to, it was a 16 hours flight, 16 or 17 hours flight, let's rather put it like that. So we fly up to Italy. It will just get down somewhere, refuel, and then straight to Canada, which was the perfect option for me and my kids, because I didn't want to be going up and it was going to be too overwhelming for me, because traveling alone with 2 children is overwhelming enough. I was so overwhelmed, guys. Don't be fooled by the little smiles that you saw on the previous video. Guys, it was frustrating, because at some point the kids they were tired of being in the flight. They didn't want to be there. The kids, they want to eat the food. They could be, my kids did not like the texture of the food, which is something that we expected. So we eventually bought them lots of cookies. So they ended up eating cookies and drinking throughout the flights. Then they were just tired. Tired. They didn't want to be there anymore. So for those of you that have traveled with toddlers, mine is 6 years and 3, you can relate. It's no easy business. So now, I'm not going to dwell too much into the flights and whatever. Let's now quickly go when we landed in Canada. Something I was shocked, I was surprised about, is that when we travel to Europe, when you get off the flight, you just get off the flight. You know what I mean? You're going about your way, you go and find your way and everything. But when you got to Canada, there was, I don't know how to call these, police or control or whatever. They were already by the gate of the flight. Like, it took when the flight landed, it took a long time for them to open the doors. So when they eventually opened the doors or the gates, I don't know if I should call it like that, there were these armed guys standing by the door. And I remember my daughter left a small handbag inside the plane. My husband was not allowed to go back in, and I also lost my neck brace. You know, that thing that protects your neck when you are sleeping and whatever. I forgot it in there and I couldn't go back inside. I ended up leaving it. That's a story for another day. So yes, we were not allowed to go back inside. I was like, okay, cool. My husband was like, so these are the guys that actually patrol. They are making sure that I don't know if they work with immigration or something, but it kind of felt a bit weird. Like, why are you here? Why are you patrolling us like this? Why? So we eventually got off. I was like, okay, we are finally done with this thing. I'm actually going. It was around, we landed around 8 in the morning, 9-ish in the morning. So I was like, I'm quickly going. I want to rest. I want to get out of this place. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Did I lie to myself? Didn't I lie to myself, guys? So we got off. We had to go into another queue. My husband did everything that he could with the online check-in, since we have permanent residence documents. He did everything that he could in order for us, like the immigration, everything to go faster. But lo and behold, there was over, I don't know, hundreds of people, like hundreds, 300 or 400 people that we landed with on that same day, that also had the same documents as us as well. Some of them had the same documents as us, and some of them, like a huge number of them, was actually students. Oh God, we had to sit at the airport for about 4 hours and a half. I was tired, but hey, I had to sit there and put myself together and find a way to entertain the kids. Tried myself to entertain the kids while my husband was trying to sort out, was standing in the queue, in the long queue, a very long queue. So yes, once we got to our turn, eventually our turn, like when we had to speak to the officer, it took about 5 minutes to speak to the officer, and another, well, that was already like 3 hours gone when we spoke to the officer. And by the time we had to leave, we now had to go and register for the is it national assurance number or something like that? Yes, so we got our permanent residence activated on that day, and the officer told us that we are going to be should we be in the country for the next 3 years, sorry, we are going to be citizens. You see, I'm still not used to all of these terms because I'm still speaking as if I'm still in SA, so please bear with me. It's just been a couple of days. So yes, we got that sorted out, our national insurance number sorted out. When we eventually got to the house, like when we eventually got to the house that we were lodged or we were welcomed, it was already 2 p.m. past 2. So mind you, we arrived at the airport around 9-ish, 8:45, 9-ish. We left there around 2 p.m. We got to the place that we were lodged at 2 p.m. Like, excuse me, I was tired, didn't want to be there anymore. I was done and out. The kids were like, haven't we seen it all? We have been in the airport enough, Mama, now we want to go. When we were not driving, when we got out of the airport, we could see the highways. I don't know, for those of you that know the Toronto airport, when you are on the outside of the airport, I don't know if I don't know if there are many sides, but the side that we were standing on, well, I saw a lot of, what do you call these, highways, you know, over the airport and whatever. So my daughter still felt like she was in Cape Town. So I think that's the first impression that I also had. I've seen tall buildings before. Cape Town, South Africa is a very beautiful country. It's not a country, like South Africa is very beautiful, guys. It's very, very beautiful to see. You know what I mean? So when I got to Toronto, I was not like, wow, this and that. Now I'm just like, everything is big. I'm like, okay, they have bigger roads. Okay, it's green. Okay, it's, you know, it's like when I said they have bigger roads, guys, we were driving on a highway of 7 lanes on this side and 7 lanes on the other side, one going in the one opposite direction and the other coming like going down, going up, or whatever you call it. So that was the thing. I was like, okay, that's the first thing that actually stood out to me. I'm like, oh goodness gracious, they have bigger roads. Cape Town, we need to get bigger roads like this as well, you know what I mean? And I feel like driving on these roads is a much easier than having to drive down, like, because everybody is anyway in Toronto, everyone is in a rush. Everybody is speeding. You know what I mean? Nobody wanna wait for no one. And should you miss a turn, my friend, you're gonna have to wait. You have to go and find your way. You have to go all the way around for you to find yourself back on the highway and back onto the road that you were going. So yeah, the roads were quite big. That was the first thing that actually stood out to me. The houses are very uniform. I'm going to be posting a video. On this video, I'm going to post a short video of just for you guys to see what I'm talking about. They have a lot of apartments, like places, a lot of apartments, a lot of side-by-side story, like double story or triple story. And of course in Cape Town we also use so many apartments. There's a lot of apartments. That's why I said for someone that comes from South Africa, preferably Cape Town, it's not like, oh my goodness, you know, I've seen most of these things, you know what I mean? So yeah, many places are uniform. However, it's green. You know, there's a difference between having a place that is, you know, the place that is full of apartments and it's just being houses, and a place where you can actually see trees, you see all of these things. That is something you mostly come across. Another thing that another first impression is that, whoa guys, there is diversity here. When I say diversity, I want, for someone that comes from South Africa, for example, and someone that looks the way that I look, or sound the way that I sound at times, or speak the language that I speak, I am most likely to see my people here, you know what I mean? And we are all mixed in one way or the other. You see Chinese, Indians, Congolese, Canadians, I don't know, like it's a whole masala dish in here that you really feel the diversity and you really feel a sense of welcome. You don't really feel odd for the fact that you are different or that you come from a different country. And I don't like to stand out, and that's the point, the part that I like about this the most. I don't stand out like, oh, you know what I mean? She's Congolese. Yes, I'm Congolese, so what? I'm here, you are here, let's keep it moving. I like that. Hey guys, Canada is empty. Like, guys, I'm so used to malls being full in Cape Town. I am so used to a full mall, but here you're walking in the mall, let it be on a weekend, let it be during the week. Where's everybody? Oh no, people at home, what do I... Hey guys, I feel like in Africa we like to, in Cape Town or whatever, in Africa we like to spend money, we like to go to malls and all of these things, all of these places for the fun of it. But here it's not a culture. Yeah, I was shocked at how empty almost every place was. So these are the first few impressions that I had of Canada. Like, oh, okay, so this is different. Okay. Oh, you guys drive on the right hand side. Oh, okay, everything is right and far left and all of these things. So that's interesting. But I'm going to be sharing with you guys the first few things that you need to do when you get to Canada. Don't be a lazy person when you get here. If you want to see things happening in your life, act fast like this. I'm going to be sharing with you that video on the following one, but this is all I wanted to share with you for today. Stay blessed. Bye.